Tafari TV, giving you the information when you need it the most. Tafari TV.
Yes, this video is 100% inspired by that video the Gamers Joint put out like a week and some change ago, and I wanted to do this the very next day, and I hate that I see some other people have jumped on this and beat me to it. Either way, happy to support the movement as well as the petition that people are signing to support keeping physical games a thing. But family came over, was in town from Texas, had the dogs in for a week. It's been a whole thing. I also see in that week Sony has finally tweeted again, and every tweet since then they are putting belt to ass over on the used to be a bird app, and rightfully so. Domino's has also surprisingly joined in on the beatdown, like every chance they get, and it's quite glorious. So please, if you haven't done so already, contribute to the movement and keep it up. So as you all know, I am a big retro guy. I even am a mainly retro streamer if you check out the gaming channel Tafari TV Gaming. But I recently moved back to Florida to take care of my elderly grandparents. I need to go to bed after recording this because we have appointments to go to in the morning. But as some of you may or may not know, I am a big lover of retro games to the point that in the last year I have finally realized one of my content creating goals of becoming a retro streamer with my own unique niche known as Walk and Talk, where I play and beat these games while on a treadmill and chatting with you guys over on the gaming channel. However, recently I moved back to Florida from Texas to take care of my grandparents, and while they are doing a lot better these days, I had to leave pretty much everything behind as I couldn't afford to move in one go and they desperately needed help. We've been raising money on stream the last couple months to get my stuff shipped here little by little, which right now, as far as physical media goes, only consists of my GameCube, Wii, and PS2 catalogs. And the walk and talk streams have now become Bike and Mike, as I also had to leave the walking pad behind too. But if you want to contribute to our monthly goals and help with the relocation, there is a donation link in the description here, as well as every video on the gaming channel. It's just a fancy tipping link. It takes PayPal or Venmo, and it allows me to thank everyone who puts in on the pot, as well as keep putting out new content for you guys or grabbing what little upgrades I might need here and there. For example, the blue snowball mic, which I was able to get with donations a couple months ago. Anywho, as for the reason y'all are here, let's get into these. And I have these two sitting here because Sony is ditching physical media. However, this thing died because this thing basically marketed itself as a home entertainment system. You could watch movies, you could play games, you could even burn CD. I know I had people who were watching bootlegs on this thing, as well as like burning their own mixtapes or their own custom CD tracks and then putting them. I don't even know what the USB port was used for, really. Like, I don't know anyone who used, but it was here. And then just cool little innovative things like being able to rotate the piece. I didn't even know you could do this until maybe like 10 years after. This was my second PS2, by the way. It took me owning two of these to even learn I could do this. Like, there was some weekends where when our DVD player was acting up or someone was borrowing, I had to put this in the living room so that like my parents could watch whatever new movies we had gotten from Redbox or Blockbuster. My God, I am dating myself. Won a console war it wasn't even trying to be in, and ended up taking out one of the main members of the competition. And don't get me wrong, I love the Dreamcast, but this thing came onto the block hot and was a problem for the competition, and now we are just dumbing it down for simplicity and to save a couple bucks, I guess. Let's get into the games. We are going to start off with 3 hood classics here. I played this one with my uncle and cousin all the time on the weekends. True Crimes Streets of LA. This, and I know Sleeping Dogs was supposed to be kind of like the third one of this after, what was it, Streets of New York? This game, man, and it took me until almost adulthood to realize how to get on some of those other paths, and then being able to unlock Snoop Dogg in here as a playable character, which, given some of the stuff Snoop has been doing lately, him playing as a cop was kind of hilarious foreshadowing. But great game, man, great game. Another one that we all had no business playing as kids, 50 Cent Bulletproof. Y'all have to understand, 50 Cent was on a run, man. This game came out, you had Get Rich or Die Trying, the album and the movie. Like, you couldn't tell, I mean, you can't tell 50 Cent anything now, but like 50 was that guy back in 2005, man. I don't know a lot of people that played Blood in the Sand, the sequel, and I never bothered to pick it up. But, and then having people like Eminem and Dr. Dre and all yeah, like, this man had his own game and was able to advertise his own vitamin, his own drink, his own albums, and just G-Unit and a whole bunch of other stuff. A book, there was a book advertisement in here. Yeah, this was just, also, remember manuals? Remember these? Now you're lucky to get a piece of paper with a download code or like an ad for something else you're never gonna buy on it. Great title. Next up, we got GTA San Andreas. And by the way, this is the Black Label Hot Coffee Edition, which apparently, so when we were younger, me and my cousin rented this from Blockbuster, which is how we knew whether or not we wanted to buy it from EB Games or GameStop. So we bought this game, we got up to like the end of the first act, you know, where they realize your CJ's brother is being set up, and then you get to the shootout, and all this other crazy stuff is about to, yeah, like all of the character bios, how to play, just buttons, radio, like look how creative this is. We are losing recipes. But yeah, me and my you know, I know they said Rider was based on Easy. I've never looked this far in the manual and realized it was right there. But yeah, me and my cousin rented this game. We took it back to Blockbuster. We went to GameStop, picked it up like a few weeks later, and then we had a message that said our save data will not work with this version of the game. And apparently blase Congress people, Hillary Clinton government stuff, and they had to reprint new copies because apparently there was a mod you could activate in here in the early 2000s to, I guess, see CJ getting it in and clapping cheeks. So this is the OG version of the game. I don't think there's any way to actually activate that on the PS2, but just because this is such a rare print, or one of the first prints that they killed off immediately, had to grab it. Another lost art I think that we have gotten away from, when movies used to have video games that released with them and they were actually well done, to the point that this one got a greatest hits edition, which means it sold 1 million copies. The Incredibles, as well as Rise of the Underminer. I only had it on the DS, but I heard the console edition of it is actually pretty great too. And then, you know, before people were shelling out Invincible dollars to get celebrities in there, you used to actually have a lot of the celebrities reprise their roles, or at least they would get a good imitator to come in and do the video games as well. Like, I believe in the main menu, when you take too long, the person yelling at you, oh, see, some of these games actually wanted you to interact. They actually had like notes and things for you to write, like cheats or tips and tricks. Never played it, but I heard this was good too. But yeah, I think the person actually yelling at you in the main menu is Frozone, or is Samuel Jackson reprising his role as Frozone. But yeah, man, this game was, no pun intended, this game was incredible. And honestly, I think this was like the last game of that era and the last one to do it. Toy Story 3, because they had their own little custom toy box mode, which I think might have been exclusive to the 360 and the PS3 versions. But they hadn't completely killed off the PS2 yet, but this was like its swan song. So yeah, in Toy Story 3, I'm not gonna lie, I just saw 5. It made me, I still hate Toy Story 4. I still think that movie did not need to be made. I'm just gonna turn it around and stop working with them here. Still don't think Toy Story 4 needed to be made, but 5 definitely made up for it. But yeah, you can kind of tell where we were headed. Like, look, the manual is getting very thin. There's only a few pages in here. The warranty is the longest thing, and like, compared to everything else I just opened, you see we were headed to the dark times. Now, as far as why I have 2 of these, we'll get to that a little bit later. Def Jam Vendetta. First off, another one. Me, my uncle, and my cousin used to love running on the weekends. I wanted to try and find a complete copy, and it was taking a minute for me to search one up. But then DMX passed away, and I had to get my hands on whatever I could pick up. So which long live that man, may he rest in peace. Great game. I never got my hands on the sequel, and not from lack of trying. Just like whenever we would go to Blockbuster to try to rent Fight for New York, that joint was just always completely out, and people, like, to the point I don't think people were returning it. So just to this day, I still have not played that game. And it also costs a pretty penny if you want to try to pick it up now. Code Lyoko Quest for Infinity. And funny story about this game, I own the Wii and the PS2 edition of this. I also own it on PSP, which again, I still need to get shipped down here. Link in the description. I own the entire Code Lyoko catalog as far as video games go. But there's actually, if you open these up, the PS2 is a little, I won't say the disc is bland, but you can see they were trying to be a little bit more creative with the Wii. They have the same manual, which I give them credit for that. And then apparently this one was also bundled with a t-shirt that it's not even expensive. It rarely pops up online. But as far as this version goes, the PS2 and the Wii were kind of same graphically. Like I know the Wii only goes up to I think 480, but yeah. Also, this show was so overhated, or at least I think it's just Twitter. And the fact that this show is now coming back for a 5th season, and we're now supposed to, well, according to the creators, we are basically just to pretend. I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all are watching this, there's a reason I do skits, man. I have a lisp and a stutter, and I used to go to speech therapy as a kid, and I don't know why I'm telling y'all all this. Oh, it's in, because this is a French anime, so you get the English manual, and then you get parlez-vous français, like over back again. Another note section. This game didn't have cheat codes, but like if you wanted to tell yourself something for you as an adult now to read something you as a kid wrote, like there were and of course Jeremy being here makes sense. There were sections, and it was so cool. But yeah, the fact that this show is coming back for a 5th season and we're just pretending the live action I didn't watch, which I wanted to give it a spin, but according to the creators, we shouldn't. But like the live action is dead and pretending it never happened, and now we're getting a new. Like some of the animators have said they're coming back. Okay, this one is completely different. Some of the OG artists are coming back. Some of the voice actors are coming back. A lot of the OG animators are coming back. Like I've loved Code Lyoko unapologetically for years, and now to see that it is coming back from the grave to do even more, bro, that young kid in me who used to watch Toonami, not Toonami, because this didn't come on Toonami. It used to come on, what was it? It was like a special cartoon block. It had something very uniquely named. It was, Magoozy. It was on Magoozy. But yeah, I actually own it. I probably should have a picture to put up somewhere. I have both the DS, which by the way, these are the peak for this franchise. Why we went backwards with another DS title and turn-based to that is disappointing. But anime is coming back, so new show, new season of the show. Hopefully we get a new game. Finding Nemo. This was another one. Again, back in the day, Pixar games based on Pixar movies were selling 1 million copies. They were doing well. They were well developed and well done. Like I didn't play the Cars one, but I heard that one was actually really decent too. Racing just wasn't my thing at the time, but like this was a game this is one of the first games I 100%ed as a child. Like Nemo was dope as a movie, and then when they're just and your movie used to get a game that came out with it that helped sell tickets to the movie. Some of them, like I think the Haunted Mansion game had discount like coupons you could use at the movie theater to go see the film if you bought the game. Granted, you thought you were going to play as Eddie Murphy and play as some weirdo with some weird guy who looked like he was about to tell you the British were coming, but still, yeah, like you get character bios and they tell you about all the cool little items you can get and little tidbits about the game, and like there was actual care put into this. Also, THQ was kind of in their bag. Whenever you needed something adapted, or you were making you were taking like a beloved IP on the big screen or just on TV, and you needed a game, THQ is your people. I think they did a couple of the Rugrats titles too. So for some reason, I've owned this game a couple times. I don't know why I haven't opened this. ATV Off-Road Fury, which I picked up not too far from where I currently live at West Orange Comic Books and Video Games. They are a comic book as well as retro shop. I know they host Yu-Gi-Oh! And I believe Pokemon tournaments as well, just for local players here, but they sell retro games on top of that as well as trading cards. So I was like, you know what? We used to play this and just do like the free play mode and just see how all the goofy ways we could crash, and that was a lot of fun. The same thing goes with this one. I've beaten this a couple of times. I don't know why I haven't opened it. And I've heard, what is it? 007 Last Light is the new one. I've heard that's actually really fun, and I know one of my friends is playing through it now, and it seems decent. But Nightfire and then Agent Underfire, man, these games were maybe I will play through this, because I'll be honest, I was too young for GoldenEye. I owned it, but I never did any of the missions right. Like I would just put in cheat codes to do mission select. I never played through any of the 007 games fair, and then it has weight to it, so I know the manual's in here, but maybe I will finally sit through one of these. So I never really got into any of the Ace Combat games or like the franchise as a whole. I don't even know if they're connected. I think what the 8th or like there's a 9th one that just got announced recently. But again, this one sold 1 million copies, and I think one of my cousins had it and gave it to me. I played it. It was fun. It was all right. But now that I'm older, the story of this needs to be turned into an anime. Like the fact that you play as, I won't say this rebel pilot. You're playing as a pilot. Dope game. We will actually get to this one in a second. The fact that you're playing as this pilot who's like a mystery. He's like the kid in Kids Next Door fighting number 2, and number 2 is the storyteller, but number 2 is actually the bad guy. And now you're hearing about your escapades and all your heroic moments from the perspective of the enemy, who you think is the main character, but you realize, oh, he's actually a villain. He's doing his duty, but he's actually on the wrong side. And now he looks at you like this, almost like this rival, this nameless, voiceless rival, as you complete each mission and start taking out his teammates. It's actually, again, another note section. I don't know who was using these back in the day, but like they were just giving us options for stuff back then, man. Also, some of these games, I don't know what this was used for, why they had these, but like a lot of Namco games used to come with a software registration card. Same with a lot of the Squaresoft or quote unquote Square Enix games back in the day. Like I think you were supposed to send this in to them, and then I think you got like a little badge or something in return. I don't fully remember. If anyone in the comments watching ever did any of these, I'll just knock the camera. If anyone ever did any of this, or you ever did any of these registrations, please let me know. But yeah, that Ace Combat 4, I've never played any of the other Ace Combats, but Ace Combat 4, if there's a game I would love to see turned into a series or an anime, it is this one. Okay, first off, look how they went in on the cover art. Like the fact that they did the whole, they took this straight out of the movie and put it on to this cover, man, which then you get the 2 different story modes where you got to play as both characters, and I don't have it. So, but yeah, this is another thing we used to do as kids, man. I don't know how old this paper is. It is definitely over a decade and a half, but like we used to write the cheat codes down and then put them in the slot so that we knew how to. Also, as much as I love getting platinums on PlayStation games, I think trophy hunting and achievements and platinums kind of killed the cheat code market, because you put them in, you can't get the game, you can't beat the game properly anymore, trophies don't pop, and I think naturally they just stopped putting cheats in games because of that. They were fun, or like fun to unlock after, at least I think should have been the move, but yeah, it's a lost art. But just immersive, they cared, they put effort and work into this. It was fun. Like even the end user agreement, like they're writing it in matrix text. Even the manual was on par with it. Now, as far as why I don't have the CD, when I was a freshman in high school, this was 2009, I got robbed, and I'll spare you all the gross details about like how this was like a personal attack on me, and my family was just caught in the crossfire. But these dumbasses took all of my games. They took all of my cartridges, they took all of my CDs, they took all of my consoles. So, but they left the cases. There was just a pile of open cases on my bedroom floor. So every game y'all are about to see, 90% of them are repurchases. So the case is from the original ownership of the game, but the game inside is why the game inside is from me buying it a second time, which is why I have 2 copies of The Incredibles. I believe the Greatest Hits one was my original purchase, and then the one that was in this one is the one that I repurchased recently. So sometimes when I spot these out in the wild, I'll usually just try to buy the CD or the manual or whatever I'm missing off like eBay or like at conventions whenever I spot them out in the wild. But sometimes I will go to retro stores and they'll have the full thing, so I just pick it up and then just keep the original one with the faded EB Games receipt on it and all. Also, Gugan, if you want to get rid of these, because I'm slowly cleaning all these stickers off my collections and residue to put them back to like their original look. Well, look, Gugan has been helping me a lot. But speaking of helping me, a good reason I've been able to put my collection back together, especially now that I'm back in Orlando, if you are ever in city limits or want to check out their website, Gamers Inc. Orlando, they have been a big help for me, man. They have helped me track down a lot of my lost collection, or just let me know when they have things in stock. You can also check out their website, Gamers Go Retro, because that is where now that I'm able to shop online, that was helping me a lot when I lived in Texas. But also, me getting robbed is why I have this game, because this was the swan song, like I said, for the PS2. This was the last Christmas bundle they sold. So when Toy Story 3 was coming out, you got a PS2 Slim, and it came coupled with a copy of Toy Story 3. So these two were this was the first thing I repurchased. So that's why I did my best to take care of these two, especially this thing. Time Splitters, which I feel like I picked it up for collection's sake, but I feel like none of us really played. I'm not saying it's a bad game, by the way. I feel like none of us really played Time Splitters 1. I feel like the game we all fell in love with was Time Splitters 2, because that's the one I have touched. I just picked this up because I saw it for like $5 at like a strip mall. It was one of those little retro stores, inside one of those like strip malls, and they had this for a couple dollars. So I was like, you know what, I'll pick it up because I love the franchise, but I don't know anyone who has ever played this game. Everyone has only played the second one. But if it is worth a spin, let me know. I am taking considerations for games to stream on the channel that I've never touched before, and we do complete everything we play, even if it is a miserable experience looking at you, Parappa the Rapper. But yeah, that's Time Splitters. My favorite game of all time. That you see this has been with me for quite a while. War of the Monsters. This game, I don't know what it is about it. I rented this when I was younger and then just picked it up on a whim. I have fallen in love with this game since I was a child. Just a generic monster fighter with every type of monster in here. I mean, you got the Japanese robot, not King Kong. There's not Godzilla, the science experiment gone wrong, the alien invader, the Americans' attempt at making a giant robot. Like I would love the old tiki or native god come to life to avenge the planet. Like this game is, I don't know what happened to this company or the people behind it. I have it on the PS4 store, and I got all the trophies, even though it doesn't have a platinum. But like, this game was ahead of its time, man, especially with like Godzilla coming out in November and standing alongside Barbie to challenge GTA 6. I would love a remake of this, but like, give us new skins, give us new monster accurate skins, like allow them to use the licensed looks of Kong and Godzilla and keep dropping them as these new movies come out, man. This will forever leave me on a deserted island and leave me with just this to entertain myself. I'm good. I am good until help arrives to come get me. Coming from that same strip mall I told you about, based on the 2003 series Transformers, and then I know there was going to be another title a couple years ago or a couple years after, based on which again I told y'all, Atari and THQ. I didn't tell y'all, but now I'm telling you, Atari and THQ, man, you want an adaptation? They got it done. Transformers Armada, the early 2000s animation series, is what this one is based off of, which is why every time I see a yellow car, I will forever think of Hot Shot, because that's who he was called in this show. And then I guess he went to being Bumblebee or went back to being Bumblebee. I don't know. That's just my experience. No, this game was not a fever dream. Neither was it being on the PS2. And yes, if you were up at 2 in the morning for no reason like me and my friends were, that was the only time you saw the advertisement for this. By the way, Vivendi Universal used to make some dope games. These are the same people that made 50 Cent Bulletproof. So clearly between that and this, they knew their way around a shooter, and they had range on the creativity. Also, I own this on the GameCube and the PS2. So I walked into an EB Games one day as a kid because I had this on game and I saw a PS2 copy, and I was like, and then it wasn't there when I came back the next day. And I was like, hey, maybe I just imagined that being in there. But no, lo and behold, like 20 years later, I found a PS2 copy in just another random retro store. And I was like, you know what? Why not? I don't know why that's my thing now. If I can find every version of a game and I can find it affordably, I will pick this up. But this game was so unique, man. And they set up for a sequel that we never got, but like, you're this unique robot. You have all these unique weapons to help fight back against the bad guys. You can also hack and hijack into the bad guys. You can drive vehicles. They have multiplayers. You have these variety of like unique weapons you could upgrade, and you're basically fighting this war which against these bad guys who you're just a mining town. Like all you do is dig and break dirt, and now you have to learn how to take on this army. but you're also clearly not from. You're almost like the Link of this game. You're not from here, but you have to save here, and we still don't really know where you come from. But this game is highly slept on. If you are a retro player, man, or a retro collector, if you come across this on game, because I think even the GameCube version isn't that expensive. If you can come across this game, man, and you want to give it a spin, it is worth it. It is worth a run, and it's a lot of fun. So here's another game that has been beating my ass since I was a child. I still have not beaten this game, and I'm not even sure how. Like, do you just run through everyone's story modes? Like, I picked it up because I saw the remake was coming out, and FOMO and panic in me. Every time they announce a remake, the OGs skyrocket like $70. Or whenever a movie comes out, the games that are based on previous versions. Like I know X-Men Origins Wolverine on the 360 or any copy of Deadpool's video game are like $100 now. But also this thing is kind of falling apart. That's actually kind of disappointing, son. Hot damn. Be careful with this. Also, you know, you can buy you can buy these, by the way. You can buy the little black label PS2 things and just swap out all the inserts, which is another cool thing about these retro titles. I'm not gonna lie, that is actually bothering me. But Dynasty Warriors 3, man, this booklet is thick. Sorry, y'all, it is like 3 in the morning. A little delirious. Yeah, all the different characters in here, man, the different types of attacks you can do, the items, and a lot of things that 8 and 10-year-old me did not know how to utilize or capitalize on. And I tried playing this on stream recently, and my lord, I got mollywopped. But I'm also missing one of the clips here on the bottom, but whatever, we will make it work. But yeah, there is. If you can't pick this up or you're considering it, there's a remake dropping. I want to say later this year. I'm hoping. Hey, look, just please do it soon before Sony tells you got to go digital only. So another set that I need to recomplete because I used to own all 3, but TMNT 2 Battle Nexus, which is based off of the old 2003 cartoon, actually very dope, very, very good. Konami's another one. I don't know if I've said it already. Sorry, it is. I've told y'all, lateness and delirium. Konami, Atari, THQ, man. You want an adaptation? I can't remember if I said Konami already, but yeah, those 3 will get it done and get it done correct. I think the only game I completed the other 2 games. I could never 100% this because I could never get through the Battle Nexus tournament to unlock the last collectible item because I never had friends to play with. And the few times I did have friends come over, we kept getting destroyed by whatever the Rabbit Man's name is. We would make it past Shredder's straw-hatted minions, and then I think Hisagi, is it? Or Usagi? Whatever his name is, Bunny Boy was wrecking our stuff. But yeah, I need to go find... At some point, I need to binge the entirety of this show. I feel like I got to where they got to the future and thought it was a different show and gave up. But I saw Turtles Forever, but the first game for this is great. I need to get the 3rd and complete the trilogy and find an accurate case for this. Now this one, man, this was I picked this up immediately. I get that TMNT keeps going through like reboots and like remakes and just I know this is technically from the 4Kids era, even though the show was really kind of just living throughout multiple iterations of ownership. But this movie, man, was so slept on. It is. I don't know why we didn't get another, especially because they set up for a sequel at the very end, like teasing Shredder basically coming back. Like I think this was supposed to be following the continuity of the old 3 show, because Shredder is supposedly dead, and then Karai mentions at the end that he's returning. But bringing in these new people with the stones and the CG animation, bro, it wasn't bad. Like this was actually a very unique attempt. Even Raph with the Night Watcher, man, this you can't tell me that this wasn't like their early look or attempt at the last Ronin, which I can't wait to see that game come out. I actually reacted to the trailer and predicted it in real time, but y'all know I read that comic through and through. I got variant editions of each copy. I cannot wait for that to drop. But this game was, me and my brother used to play this when he was very little. That man is grown and in the Air Force now. But yeah, this, I don't know what happened, man. This version, I think the current TMNT iteration is getting one more movie and then the X, because they just canceled the show. But like TMNT 07, man, we did a long play of it on the channel. This was greatness. Okay, down the batch starting from the bottom, and we have The Sims Busting Out, which I believe I have this on GameCube as well as PS2. Yes, we do. We did a walk and talk stream with this, I want to say last year or this year, and that's not the game inside. So yeah, sometimes when we would either lose a game or a game would get stolen or whatever would happen back in the day, and we would get handed a loose disc from a friend, or you get handed those little sleeves in GameStop and like other game stores where it's just the CD by itself, you would just put it in an empty case, and that's what happened here. So NFL Street, EA Sports Big, we would love y'all to make a comeback. I know there's what is it, NBA The Run is taking off right now, and everyone's like, yeah, bring back this era of games. Again, another hood classic. I didn't even really like football like that growing up, and then I would go on to play in high school and college. But still, this this was a nice middle ground for me and my sports loving cousins, because between games like this and what is the one I have on NFL Blitz were hilarious to me. I will eventually find the right game for this case and then the right case for this game. Another one off the bottom here. We're gonna go Slugfest 2. Again, this was a hilarious one. I gotta start finishing sentences. Sorry. I know I talk how Outcast raps. MLB Slugfest 2003. Sorry, y'all. I'm a Florida grown boy. I am flow grown and country as hell. Yeah. Once I saw the not even the trailer, the first commercial for this, where they're actually fighting in the game, and like you can actually just get into brawls. Again, I played baseball as a kid, but like baseball was such a boring sport to watch, so I never got into those MLB games. This, however, was great. This, however, I still need to buy. And again, remember what I said about loose CDs. So you just the ones that you couldn't find a case for, didn't have, you just slip them in here. Again, I know I'm missing a lot of games. If any of y'all want to donate or help me donate either a case, a space to put these things in, or a manual, or the complete in-box edition, or just the CD itself. I do have a P.O. box back in Texas y'all can send into these too. Please help me finish the collection. But what the hell are these loose discs? I don't even remember what these are and why I put them in backwards, which means there's two in here so they don't scratch each other. Right, I have Call of Duty 2 in it for some reason, and then one of my cousins left this at my house, Namco Museum. It's got a bunch of old, I think there's like Pac-Man and Galaga, and you literally walk through a museum, and then it's volume 1. So I think it was part of a multi-disc set, but it's like a bunch of old retro Namco arcade games, and then you walk through a literal museum and play them. I don't know why I have this in here. I thought I put this somewhere, and I thought this was packed in a box. Excuse me. Beautiful Joe. Again, this game was ahead of its time. They had a sequel, a 3DS spin-off, and I think a TV show on 4Kids at one point. But like, yeah, the concept of this game with like minor adult and suggestive themes in here was dope. I wish they either another attempt at a show or like a restart of this, even port the series, man. Joe, and I think Joe was in like one of the Capcom fighting games at one point. It was on the Wii, but still. Yeah, this game was such a fun. Also, I never played any of the Devil May Cry games, but this was my intro to Dante. I don't know why Capcom, that's why. But yeah, they had Dante from Devil May Cry as a playable character, and once you beat the game, and this was my introduction to Dante. And then I went and picked this game up after losing it at one point. I think it was after it got stolen. I beat it on GameCube, realized Dante wasn't in it, took it back the next weekend, returned it, and swapped it out for this very version I have here. Okay, this got stolen after. It got stolen after I did all that, because the Simpsons game is in here, and I think I picked this up thinking it was Simpsons Hit and Run, and it was based on... It came out the same time as the movie, but it's not even based on the movie. This game was okay. I didn't hate it, but like... And then it's one of those games where like you beat it and then you can't go back. So you're literally, once you're done, you're done. So I'm like, I get it, trying to capitalize off the franchise, but like this was okay. And then I still have the EB Games receipt in here from 2008? Yeah, I returned my GameCube Beautiful Joe and then picked up my PlayStation. Here's the receipt from when that happened. So this was 2008. I got robbed in 2009. So this was 8th grade. Nope. This was freshman year. This was my I'm sorry, y'all. Blanking. Give me 1 second. Hold on. 7th grade. This was spring, second semester of 7th grade that I did all that I just told you. So yeah, returned Beautiful Joe and GameCube. swapped it out for the one on PS2, and had a ball. And then I got robbed like damn near a year later. And what loose games I came across or were given to me, I just put them in what CD cases. And I believe it's the same case for this game. This is one of the few games where, like, I remember playing the demo for this random Namco title. I wish they would do something more with it, because it was a dope, complete story that was told. The abilities were fun. The enemies were creative and hilarious. The story was nice. Again, I have the manual. I have the case. Do not have the CD. Again, if y'all want to donate to me, or if y'all want to donate to via PO box, or just donation so I can reclaim these titles, link in the description. But yeah, this was another one I need to work on repurchasing. Yeah, you had like different costumes you could wear, different powers, wall running, different enemies, Dragon Wolf. Let me see, yeah, just this was one of those just out there games that got greenlit and I think did well, but then you just never heard from ever again. But solid title. Okay, another hood classic. I can't remember if this game is actually in here or not, but NBA Jam, man. You had games that were kind of teetering on this type of playstyle. Like, I know you could do a lot of silly stuff on the N64. One of the N64 NBA games, which I think was on the Dreamcast as well. Hey, look, y'all know the sob story. Robbed. It is missed. There is no disc. But yeah, NBA Jam, man. This game was fun. And I believe on the GameCube version of this or some other basketball game, you could actually unlock like the Mario Brothers. I think you could do like a 3-on-3 with Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach. But yeah, again with the game registration and the notes. Everyone was giving you notes. It's back when they cared. Back when they cared about ownership. And now we own nothing. It took a chance on this one. Again, another one of those Fox games similar to The Simpsons. Literally, you beat it and there's no level select. It just goes back to the title screen. You have to start all the way over. But Family Guy, the video game, like for $10, probably 40 when this came out, but for $10, what is the victory shall be mine. Yeah, for $10, man, this was not a bad pickup. It basically plays like one big episode of the TV show. Like there's mini games, which are cutaway gags. There's little lore tidbits in here that play into stuff you've experienced throughout the game. Stewie versus his half-brother Bertram, special preview on the graphic novel. Oh, and there's a comic. There was a comic in here, or a comic teaser in it. You see, you used to get like little, even just the stuff that's like, and I know they had another game, I think on the 360 recently, like Across the Multiverse or something, but like even these little cash grabs like these, which were actually somewhat well done, they gave you extra stuff in here, man. All right, I know for a fact this isn't in here. Call of Duty 3, and I don't think I ever even played this. I think one of my friends left this at my house when they moved out, and I think there was a CD in here that wasn't even the game it's supposed to be. Or there's no CD at all. But again, there's more. Why are there two? Okay, you got a game manual and a mini guide. You got a mini guide. You got, like, look how much they cared. Now Call of Duty is just god darn copy and paste and character skins and trying their best to keep up with Fortnite. Like, it's just Warzone plus a new game at this point. So these two, funny enough, my uncle, who I was actually dog sitting for last week, when he moved out of this house and got his own first apartment, one of the first games, he would come pick up me and my cousin and my uncle to stay over with him on the weekends. And one of the first games we played with him, which now that I'm looking back at it, 3 preteens and one, or 2 preteens and 1 teenager stomping in an upstairs apartment playing DDR Max was probably annoying for his neighbors, but whatever. And one of the first games we ever played with him was this, DDR Max 2. Yeah, like, and I had never really played these games at the arcade because they always have the diagonal dance pads, but he actually had a legit dance pad that we could play with. And the song selections, it was like all songs I heard from movies or heard my parents playing on like records in passing, or old records my grandparents had, but I had a blast with this. And then there was apparently a bunch of other titles. And I know y'all can't see it. The date on this is like super faded, but it says like 104. I want to say that's an 06 or 07. I don't know. It's, again, receipt is from the original purchase. Backstory on this game, DDR Supernova 2. I had and shout out to cool teachers, man. Again, back when EB Games was a thing, I had a gym teacher, and for our one of our last couple class days, we'll see what these are in a second. In one of our last days of class, he brought his PS2. He set up a projector in the gym, like in the big gym, and brought down the because there was a presentation. What am I trying to say? You know, the little things you pull, the little pull down screen you put projectors on. He pulled that down from the ceiling, brought a projector from home, or probably just got one from the school, but brought his PS2, 2 dance mats, and this game specifically. And we spent the entire day, or every class he had that day, all got to play DDR Supernova. So I remember specifically that Family Guy episode had just come out with Chris getting stuck in the music video, and I remember playing one of my friends in Take On Me. And so this, that's just always going to be a core memory for me. So when I saw this in the store, I had to pick it up. Granted, it is just a generic GameStop edition back when, you know, they sold their own versions of accessories because everyone couldn't afford name brand stuff, and sometimes the damn glowing Pelican brand was just trash. I actually own a working and functional dance pad for those DDR games. So, yeah, I still play those. We stream them sometimes, even though some of the songs get me blocked and then I have to cut them all out after. Again, my dream is to one day complete this collection and just put everything back in a proper space and case and with the manual, and so I can call them all CIB, which stands for complete in box for those who don't know. What are you two? Yeah, I was wondering. I was looking for this. I was wondering because I live in Florida. The power's going out all the time, and I was like, "Where is my copy of Barbershop?" And of course, I have it. I'm gonna put this. I have a CD book with someone with like movies I took to college. I'm gonna put it in there. But so I don't know if they still do this when we were younger. Speaking of Ice Cube, if you ever saw Are We There Yet? When he had a GameCube in the car in the movie, people used to actually do this. So my dad had an Eddie Bauer truck. He got TVs and a PlayStation put in. That's why these two are together. He had a TV and a PS2 installed in his truck. So when we got the PS2, they left this CD in here, and I didn't know that there was like an entire franchise. I'm trying to get it to focus. I didn't know that Oddworld had an entire franchise, and now that I have a PS1 memory card, maybe I'll try to beat this game, even though I only have the first disc apparently. But I remember I used to keep this and Barbershop in the car, so when we would go on road trips to like the beach or to like Busch Gardens, me and my brother would either play this, Battlefront 2, or Barbershop. And that's why these two are together in this pouch. I will find a proper home for you two one day. Again, shout out Gamers Inc. Orlando, because this is where I actually picked this one up from. Midway. Is Midway still around? Midway is another title, or another company that used to make some dope franchise titles based on like popular TV and movie IPs. They also made NFL Blitz. Yeah, again, 25 bucks, but it was worth it, man. I am a big Ed, Edd n Eddy fan. For those who don't know, hold on. One of my first cosplays ever, and the one I'm kind of known for now, was Johnny 2x4 from this show. I also own the complete series, which I'm kind of sad that when Cartoon Network did these, they don't include the specials or the movies. It's literally just the episodes. But like, yeah, this is my favorite Cartoon Network. This is my favorite show of all time, my favorite Cartoon Network show. It is #1 for me in all categories. So I finally decided to pick up the video game, and honestly, I'm almost upset. Damn, Havoc worked on this too. Havoc is another one, man. What happened to all these classic studios, man? They used to give us bangers. But I got like a good 4 or 5 hours of this. We did a long play of it on the gaming channel. I did the entire thing in one setting, even one sitting. Sorry, it's late country. I slur a little bit. Sorry. But yeah, this game, man, it's like playing an extra episode of the TV show. Even the cutscenes, which are a little bit cheaper on the animation side, but like decent amount of content in here. Like, it's not just a cash grab. There's actually And I think they got the actual voice actors from the show to reprise all their roles. I think Kevin is the only one who his character model looks crazy, but like I loved this game, man. This was so much fun to sit down and run through. And I'm kind of sad this is like the only one they really had console wise. I know they had some on the Game Boy Advance, and then the ones you could play on CartoonNetwork.com, which are now just lost media. But I am happy to have this in my collection along with these two. Okay, now we are about to shift into anime greatness. I believe this came with my first PS2. I did not know much about this game or Capcom and SNK characters. I remember seeing them at the arcades when I would go to like arcades with my uncles or like movie theaters, and they would have them in the lobby. But for some reason, I had this. I think this game came with my first PlayStation or my first PS2, and I know nothing about how to fight. Like, this game doesn't give you any explanation either. They just literally throw you in, and I know there's like the 3 fighting styles, and they just did a remake or a fighting collection for this, and I copped this right before that got announced. I think the price on this has finally come down, but I remember it skyrocketed for a little bit. Yeah, like I don't even know if there's a story here. I think you just kind of run through each character's like arcade mode, but yeah, like the stages were cool, the fights were cool. I loved the characters, and this is coming from like a 5-6-year-old kid who knew nothing about like the backstory of these people or the franchises they're attached to. I really liked. This was like one of my first fighters, and I really loved it, along with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which I had on my Dreamcast. Moving into the world of Toonami, I'm trying to find the black label versions of all these. The greatest hits were the only ones I could come across. But yeah, if you remember that first commercial they had for this game, because we loved Dragon Ball Z growing up, but the fact that they was like, oh, PS2 was going crazy, like we're finally getting a DBZ. I don't know why I'm holding it crooked. Sorry, we're finally getting a DBZ video game. That first Toonami promo wrote, "Don't call them cartoons. They don't like when you call them cartoons." I don't have the manual, but I beat this in my own spare time. I just recently realized there's a whole secret game mode where you play as Hercule lying about the Cell games. But Budokai, man, this game took off in the States and is the reason we were able to get so much out of this franchise. And then you get onto Budokai 2, which this cover is amazing, and low-key, I think this is my favorite out of the 3. Like, they definitely peaked with bring back holographic covers, man. And there's another one you'll see in my collection soon enough. But the Secret Feud, I still need to beat this, by the way. I'm only like part through the story mode. Maybe we'll stream it. But yeah, this one, complete in box edition, had the website. They used to have websites for our games, man. Yeah, but like DBZ was done, but they still managed to come out and adapt that Cell game stuff. I know some people feel iffy about the whole chess piece thing on the story mode. I think that was a weird move too, but now that I'm an adult, I'm having fun with it. But yeah, the manual giving us all this cool stuff with it. Apparently they gave us everyone's like special moves here. Yeah, they gave you everyone's special moves and some of the roster, but like the secret fusions like Goku or Tiencha and all that other stuff, man. It was such a dope thing to have in here. And then I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of when they started doing new covers for the Greatest Hits edition, and this one is dope. I kind of prefer the black label version of this. This was just the only one I could get my hands on, and I don't know what I did with the original case I had for it. But yeah, this is a different version than the also RIP Funimation. You should see what that new guy is doing now that you're gone. It is crazy. Speaking of not owning things, but yeah, Budokai 3 had its own unique Greatest Hits cover, but this kind of paved the way for like some of the games we have now, especially like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, being able to fly around the planet, being able to have these random interactions, the movie characters coming in, the Dragon Rush techniques. No manual in here, just the receipt from the day I bought it. And then again, Dragon Ball Z was done, but the fact that they managed to incorporate the GT stuff in here, and then that opening, man, that opening theme, the second you pop this disc in and that violin just cuts in, chef's kiss. According to this receipt, I picked this up on, looks like December 18th, 2010. I picked up Jak 3, Battlefront on the PS2, Budokai 3. Yeah, and then I bought the $100 Toy Story 3 PlayStation 2 bundle. So this was when I got that PS2 and Toy Story 3 that I was telling y'all about. And then apparently, according to this receipt that I have from like a week later, I went back on the 29th and I had to swap out Budokai 3 and Jak 3 because apparently they both were defective or scratched to hell and didn't work. So yeah, fun times. And again, back when it was easy to just return, replace, and then hopefully I don't know what they did with the defective stuff. They either resurfaced it or just threw it out, which this was around the time GameStop dumpster diving became a thing, so maybe. So I never got to play any of the Clash of Ninja games, but Ultimate Ninja, when it came to Naruto, was like, we looked at this game the way people look at the Storm franchise now. Like, to us, this was the blueprint for Naruto games, especially once we were 3 of them in and the series was just wrapping up. And then I believe this game came out when we were in like filler hell and we didn't know what filler was. So we just thought Sasuke was going to get found for the next like 70 episodes. But this game was the peak, man. It covered the whole story, ended with Naruto and Sasuke's fight, had all the up-to-date transformations. It was kind of the final entry in the franchise for us until, you know, Shippuden came along like a year or 2 years later. And then they would make a 4th one, and I think that was the last one because they had Shippuden in there. But yeah, and then they used to advertise like you could catch the show on Toonami or whatever the hell, Toonami Jetstream. I think this is where you could go to watch episodes like online on their little mini VLC player. But yeah, this was here, and then we would go on to get the Storm games, and that would go on to change anime gaming and arena fighters as we know it. I'm very sad that this anime never got to finish. I don't think it finished in the sub or the dub. I think it just went to the manga, and now there's a sequel manga out. But Zatch Bell Momoto Battles, bro, this was such a dope show. And again, we were so happy that they had a game that came out with it. And the fact that I actually have some of the trading cards. Again, it's all back in Texas. If you want to help me get it shipped here, link in the description. The fact that we got a game and a trading card set for this. It came with a collectible card, and the cards all had codes to unlock different stuff. And I believe the card is in a sleeve somewhere. But yeah, Zatch Bell, you had Zatch and Kyo. The card came inside the sleeve. The card had a code. And then you kind of went to what? I think GameWinners.com or CheatWinners.com. One of those cheat code sites to see who else had codes. And hopefully you could collect all the stuff. But yeah, and then they were advertising the Zatch Bell mod, which I'm not even sure where you really got manga back in the day outside of like maybe the local library. But yeah, once again, more registration stuff with Bandai Namco because they wanted you to register and own your things. Again, the trading card, man, they had a trading card game. This was it. Mine came with this card, but that's all in a booklet of sleeve or a sleeve book back in Dallas. But yeah, this show, man, I wish this show would have gotten a proper ending or at least a proper way to wrap up, but instead it just, I don't know what happened. I don't know why Zatch Bell got the treatment that it did, but definitely deserved better. It at least got a sequel game that, again, was more, it was an arena fighter before Storm started doing arena fighters. So it upgraded from being a side scroller to a more 3D arena fighter based one, and even the humans can fight each other on top of the Momotos. We're actually streaming this now on the gaming channel. By the time this gets uploaded, we might be done and it might already be in a playlist, but please feel free to go check it out. We're kind of playing through the show and the game together. Also, this game is like $200 on GameCube. I don't understand what that's about or why my camera keeps coming out of focus. But yeah, this game didn't cost me but like $20 on eBay, but for some reason, every time I see it in the store, where's the CD? All right, like I said, we're currently streaming this, so there's the CD in all of its fury gloriness. But also they fight with spell books in the anime. So the fact that they actually turned the manual into a spell book was such a dope idea, man. Like, yeah, and then they're telling you about how to play as different characters and the controls and the different characters you're gonna get to be and fight. And I think if you watched my stream recently, this was a pain in the ass. I don't know how you're supposed to beat this fight. I also have this guy's trading card. Robnos, pain. I don't know who designed that fight, but please see me outside. You owe me 5 minutes. And then even the more other niche anime games, Xenosaga 3, Dot Hack Volume 1, which apparently I guess they made more. And again, another note section. Another note section. Don't let people lie to you. Anyone who talks about they have been loving One Piece for the last 20 plus years, a hidden shame that we all share is that the 4Kids dub of this show is what introduced an entire generation of it. So I know that there are people who go like hard in the paint on One Piece, but it's like, calm down. If you're a day one fan like me from America, I know you used to watch the terrible English dub. So don't sit here and hit me with the, oh, the dub is trash, or you don't appreciate One Piece, or calling people LARPers, which I hate so much. Because we all had the same hazing process. That was this show. The only good thing it gave us was an introduction to the show. God damn, what is wrong with this camera? An introduction to the show, that dope rap opening, because that's how they did all the I paid $40 for this. This was $40 brand new when it came out. But yeah, we got introduced to the show. We got that rap song, and it introduced us to, and we got these video games. So you got Grand Battle, which was a nice kind of semi top down arena fighter kind of. Everyone was like slightly chibied out. Like it was very much giving a little Gundam GX or GT, whichever one is the one where they're all short. But yeah, Grand Battle, you got, again, another manual, but it gave you all the combos, talked about the stages, a little bit about the show. Again, Bandai, doing the Lord's work and trying to let you know, hey, please register your items, let people know, offer feedback to let us know what you want more of or how to be better. Also, you got a warranty. Now you just get nothing. You get like an empty case and hopes and dreams and maybe some of the animators' tears. But yeah, there was Grand Battle, and then there was the sequel, which was a little bit more adventurous because you had to sail around and stuff, called Grand Adventure. And I'm not gonna lie, you had to do like mini games and like puzzles in between the fight stages, and I got stuck on one of them, and I think I still have the save file inside one of these memory cards. So one day I will go back and finish it. But this went on into Skypiea, which is where the 4Kids dub left off and then eventually ended. What's also hilarious is that like the mini games in this one are Davy back fights. I don't even know if they were at the Long Ring Longland in the sub when this show came to America, but like we were doing Davy back fights as mini games with the characters in the background. And we had no idea who the hell these people were. We thought it was just some silly stuff that they put in the One Piece for the video game, not realizing these were canon characters we were gonna have to deal with later on. Just something I realized now that I have caught up on this show. And then the next one that I need to hurry up and actually play. First off, this game was not hard. Again, thank you, Bandai, man, coming in clutch for the popular IPs that want to get into the gaming space. This game wasn't even expensive. It was just hard to track down. Like when Toonami put out or talked about a video game, because this is an American-made anime, by the way. This was fully made and produced by Toonami, and they had a game, but Lord, the printing for this was limited. I saw this in GameStop one day. No, I saw the commercial for it, but didn't get to GameStop until the next Saturday, and all the stores were sold out. I remember having the guy search multiple stores, and he's like, yeah, we got like one box of them and they were gone. And it's the same for every other store near here. But this show, man, I also graphically not bad. We did a little bit of a gameplay on this about a year ago when I first was getting into Walk and Talk. And I think this is going to be what I replace Life is Strange with after I beat it, or probably have already beat it and turned it into a playlist. But the Immortal Grand Prix, man, this game, also your three main characters are, I forget who her voice actor is, but it's Sora from Kingdom Hearts and Letty from Fast and the Furious. But also Liz was my first anime crush. I thought she was black. She's Latino. But yeah, this game was phenomenal, man. They spared no expense. And then the actual gameplay of it is a little wonky. I need to figure out the controls. I am a novice at racing games. I need to learn more of the techniques and the combos, because I'm not going to lie. Yeah, like all of this, all of this jargon, I need to actually study this before we get back into it, because I am not gonna lie, I was getting my ass beat. I was not winning any of those races by actually winning the race. I was just knocking out all the robots out of commission and just calling it a day. But yeah, Team Satomi, Team Black Egg, Edge Raid, Skylark, Sledge Mama, Velstein, Steve Bloom is one of these guys, and I know these are all three very prominent voice actors as well. Again, more notes. And currently, I don't believe there's any legal place to stream this show. So when it got, and apparently the Crunchyroll store is about to go on some kind of payment plan, like you got to subscribe to just have access to it now. So I don't think there's a legal way to stream this show. So like I saw Discotheque Media put this out and had a complete saga for it, or the complete series, and they have the original cut as well as the production IG cut, which has like the Japanese opening and outro, as well as a different soundtrack, and the Toonami cut, and it's, I believe, upscaled to 1080. But yeah, I wanted to own this show because it's great. It's a dope series. I think there's maybe one website that has it legitimately, but like as I was looking for it, I'm like, I can't find this anywhere online. Also, so many of your favorite voice actors are in. That's not the screen, dumbass. Yeah, Haley Joel Osment, Mark Hamill, Lance Henriksen, Michelle Rodriguez, dude, Tom Kenny from SpongeBob. SpongeBob is in here as well, along with like Steve Bloom and other people that I mentioned. And then this was animated by Production IG, who has, yeah, they've gone on to do Ghost in the Shell, Attack on Titan, and I believe they are currently working on the last and the previous and current season of Spy Family. But yeah, if you have never checked out IGP, I mean, if you can find the game, cool. Again, this wasn't expensive. It was just hard to track down. Like I had to wait for someone to finally list this on eBay to get it. But if you can find a way to watch this show, man, it is a great short 26 episode ride. I wanted to redeem 10-year-old me, and you know, because I got very confused and stuck on this game as a kid. Borrowed it from my cousin, and I just couldn't get through it. I kept getting lost in some of those puzzles. The gameplay was some of those stronger fights towards the end were kicking my ass, and I kept dying, rewinding just to die again. But yeah, I finally played through it. We did a let's play on the gaming. Even Ubisoft wanted you to own your things. Register, let us know that you care. Like, Sony, what are you doing, man? Like, why are we goofballs? Goofballs snorting the purest of powder. But yeah, this game actually tells a decent story, especially with like Jafar the bad guy here, which that boss fight was kind of a joke. But honestly, a reward after all the crap this game put you through. We did a let's play on the channel last year, and we beat it. And I played it recently or last year, because I'm like, you know, I heard there's a remake coming, and then it was like supposed to be here for a while, and then of course, like the day after I beat this game, the remake gets canceled, which is just disappointing. So, dope game, and I'm glad that I own the only version of it now. Alright, now stepping into the world of Marvel, and by how hollow this is, I can tell it's not in here, but we weren't getting left behind. The 360 edition of Ultimate Alliance was great, and then they would try to make you feel better by getting a PS2 edition by calling it special, but the only thing special is there's nothing in here. You got a manual, some dope stuff. Again, I told y'all, stolen. P.O. Box, donations. Either one works. Actually, this was me and a lot of people's introduction to Deadpool. Like, I fully thought they made him up just for this game. And I think you got a bonus DVD in here. And I don't remember where it is because there's only one CD slot. But you got a bonus CD that came with, like, behind-the-scenes cast interviews and, like, trailers. And honestly, I remember one of the interviews in here, they did a highlight reel of asking everyone like their favorite Marvel character in the game, and like it's just a compilation of people saying Deadpool. Stolen. However, this show was not bad. This was a very childish and chibi version of Marvel superheroes, but they had everyone in here from Doom to Dormammu to Blade, and then clearly the villains that you can and people you can unlock. They even had Punisher in here, and I know you think a childish Punisher wouldn't work, but this was such like, I used to play this game with my little brother when he was a toddler, and he loved the show and the game, so I bought it for him. Again, more notes. We played through this entire thing together. Like, it doesn't take long. Very innocent. If you can ever get your hands on it and you want something to play with your kid, this was actually very fun. And I believe they were on like their second season of the show where they moved on to this super sword that he wanted for some reason. But Marvel Superhero Squad, man, this show is actually not bad. But they had a game, It was, yeah, you had drop in, drop out co-op, which I can appreciate, a game that lets people leave if they need to leave. But yeah, this THQ coming in clutch for another TV show, man. Universal, well, not Vivendi Universal, but Universal Interactive. They had a couple gaming like entities out there, but coming through with the 2003 Hulk, even if you don't like the '03 Hulk movie, the '03 Hulk video game had so much lore in here. Like, for a lot of us, this was our first experience and interaction with the leader, and having to fight some of these other heroes. The decent CGI or yeah, CG cutscenes for this era. Even how you had to go about entering cheat codes. You didn't just get to enter them. You had to like go find terminals and then put them into the game. And then the fact that there are levels in here where you have to play as Banner. You have to play as Banner and Hulk. So Hulk can go berserk. Banner has to do stealth. And there were some missions where literally it became impossible for you to... If Banner got caught sneaking around, you were just done for. And then, let me see. Yeah, more things, more cars, more ownership. But yeah, you were able to, this game played like Hulk was so broken. Like, you could punch back missiles, you could Hulk smash stuff, you could absolutely annihilate and abuse the cannon fodder enemies. But I've been told I need to play Hulk Ultimate Destruction. A cousin of mine owned it and I played it a little bit, but I heard that's a bit more lore filled and comic booky. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I might get flack for this one. I thought Ultimate Spider-Man was just okay. I very much prefer the movie games over this one, because this one is, I honestly, hot take. Never mind, I thought I had it with me. It's still in a box in Texas. Again, working on getting all that shipped here. Donate if you want to. Yeah, I liked the Game Boy Advance version better than this one, because maybe because that was my first experience with this, and I liked that whole that dark tone they set between Eddie and Peter. It kicks in. They found a good way to do it with the cutscenes and the music in the Game Boy Advance version. And here, this very much people, and I get what people say about this. Hey, it plays like an episode of an old TV show, or it plays like the '90s show. It plays like a real comic book, and it does. But bro, once it's done, it's done. Like, it just, I think the web swinging threw me off a little bit. I think some of the camera angles and some of the boss fight, Venom's parts were fun. Venom's parts were great. Some of Peter's parts, especially like the racing and whatnot, just wasn't for. The game is good, just in comparison to what I like. Spider-Man 2, Tobey's Spider-Man 2 is just up there for me, man. And it's, some people were telling me that this game was better than that, and I'm like, you know what? The cutscenes are great, the characters are great, the gameplay is fine. The story overall, what it's telling, Peter and Eddie and their parents were both scientists, and the symbiote, and like, I like seeing that tale play out. But like, once it was done, it was done. Like, we're not getting another part of that tale. But yeah, dope title. I get why it has the respect it does. For me, it's just okay. More games that I don't have the proper case for. Tobey's Spider-Man 2. I told you, this game was phenomenal. And another one that I'm sad that like doesn't, I wish they would especially now that like Tobey's in the MCU technically, I wish they would re-release these and just like re-release a lot of these games and just add level select or like new game plus. And why are most games now, why is new game plus a patch and an update? Why is that not part of the base title? But yeah, I have the first two, and I heard the third one is terrible and I should just never play it, even if it's on 360 or, and I heard the PS2 version is a joke. I heard that's even worse, so I've just never touched it. But also what's dope in this that I didn't realize until like I rebought it a couple years ago, I didn't realize you could play as Harry Osborn as the Goblin, and you got a whole alternate story mode in here for the free. They would charge you $40 for DLC for that now. Same with this one, that arena where you fight Shocker, and apparently you can do like a whole boss gauntlet in there. That would be an add-on later, even though none of us can ever find it because that place is never marked on the damn map. But this was great. Like the web swinging in here set the tone for so many games that came after it. Insomniac, Spider-Man 1 and 2, Miles Morales, even Web of Shadows, man. Everybody ate and fed off of this, man. This thing crawled so that other titles could walk and run. And then the reaction commands, Black Cat being in here, The Doc Ock, the boss fights, Mysterio's fight was hilarious, man. I truly thought I was about to get cooked, and that dude was a one-hitter quitter. Classics, man. We love you, Toby. Moving on to a galaxy far, far away. I never actually played the original trilogy. This was actually my brother bought this. My little brother purchased this because he wanted it, because he was getting into Star Wars because of the Clone Wars. So he started watching. I don't know if you guys remember Spike TV, if it's even still around. Spike TV used to do like these 12-hour marathon days of Star Wars movies, which was really just like 3 or 4 of them played back to back. But apparently they were a big hit for the channel, and they would advertise these games on them. So my brother wanted the original trilogy. Now, we grew up on the prequels. So I got the original Lego Star Wars video game. Me and my best friend in like, what is it, 3rd or 4th grade when the movie came out, we beat this entire thing in a night. But just the replayability, going back and getting all the collectibles, just being at the cantina and being able to watch all these random characters fight or make them fight. The infinite battle you can do on, Geonosis when the clones first get introduced is always fun. And then, episode 1, 2, and 3, and then the slight teaser for episode 4, which, again, I didn't realize we were in a prequel era and this story already had an ending. So these 2 games are great. I don't know, maybe one day I'll play through this. I have too much of an attachment here. I don't know, man, maybe one day I'll take a deep dive on the second one. Now this bad boy here was revolutionary. I lost hours, days on this bad boy right here. Like a start, especially with like Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1, and like I think one of the first Battlefield games getting popular. Star Wars cemented themselves in there early. It says, say less, we got one. Like reliving out some of those major fights. And I think there was a sticker on here and I tried to pull it off, and that's why this is looking like this. Either way, still got the manual. But yeah, like the fact that you could go through and again, this is where gaming started getting weird, because like you have the prequels as well as the episode 4 through 6 era in here. But like I remember when the first Battlefront remake came out, and I told my friends, I'm like, am I the only one who noticed we only have like the Galactic Civil War era, like the Clone Wars is completely missing? Like, how did they sell us a game with half the story not in it? But with this one, man, I remember I used to love playing as the sniper because the little recon droid, man, those aerial strikes were absolutely broken. But this was a time. Also, I think this was like one of my first ever Black Friday purchases. Then, shortly after, we upgraded with Battlefront 2. Again, no manual, but this game, fantastic. I have this here on my Xbox because it was free with Games with Gold for a while. And I have it on the PSP, which is a bit of a watered down version because it's just missions. But like, low-key, the story mode, a story being told from like a dark perspective of the 501st, which Clone Wars came out like a little after this, so I just told myself that's Captain Rex we're talking to. But like getting an actual war journal or like war dog diary from a clone in the 501st ranks as they go through all the epic battles, and we're hearing this story from their perspective, especially as it shifts from the Republic to the Empire, man, it was a dope experience. And then someone a couple years ago randomly at Xbox dug up the original Xbox DLC codes and put them in this game. This game actually had DLC as well as like online lobbies. So you had a couple extra maps that allowed you to do heroes versus villains versus only be able to do it on Mos Eisley. And then you got to play as Asajj Ventress, who was from the 03 series, not just the current Clone Wars, which is why everyone was confused that she was back, but we didn't realize it was a reboot. But you got to play as Ventress and Kit Fisto. Kit Fisto, who was my favorite Jedi. Yes, because he has dreadlocks and is Jamaican. And especially when, I think Phil Lamar ended up playing him, so that solidified my love for him even further. All right, now we can talk about when we really started getting scammed, because, they advertised this telling you, hey, pick up the game. It's on Xbox 360, PS3, and PS2. And they make it look like you're going to go play a PS3 or Xbox 360 title, not realizing that, yeah, they kind of played you, because like the extra studio that's listed on here, and then no CD, but like the manual is a little bit thinner than the one I think you get on the 360 version. And then you played it and you were like, yo, these graphics are way watered down. The story's different. I'll be honest, I appreciate that they gave us some custom boss fights in here and like some extra missions to at least make it unique. So again, they cared. The developers cared when the companies putting this out didn't. But still, this was one of my first disappointing purchases. I love the game now. I love it now that it's aged. But I remember picking this up and going home pissed that like, hey, this is not what was advertised on TV. Speaking of Clone Wars, then there's this one, and there is what is it? Chrome Studios again, the same people that are on this one. So again, we bought this. Me and my brother love Clone Wars. My brother's a huge Clone Wars fan now, especially huge into like the clones and especially the Mandalorians. But yeah, we bought this game, and I think it was advertised on the show because he had just shown up. You could play as Cad Bane. Again, stole it. But that was apparently exclusive to, I think, the 360 and the PS3 version, and potentially the Wii version. Gameplay in here was like super repetitive. This one, honestly, I like the shooting levels more than the Jedi levels because they at least felt a little bit more challenging and rewarding. You actually had to watch your ammo. It wasn't just this, because everyone just has the same 5 generic slices for the Jedi. However, GameStop has recently started selling retro games again, so, and again, I think this is the same watered down version, but decided to pick it up on the Wii since it was like all of what? Alright, this is the wrong receipt. I don't know why this is in here, but yeah, I didn't have to pay too much for this. I remember that much, so I figured if I'm going to play through it again at some point, I might as well have an experience that's a little bit more interactive with the Wiimote and Nunchuck, so why not? Okay, from this point forward, I think you can say we saved the best for last. Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. I was gifted this in first grade on my birthday, and I think this wasn't one of the ones that got stolen. I think I just didn't own this. I had Jak 2 and 3, definitely. Those games took such a shift after this, and then I still need to finish Combat Racing. I beat Daxter, Lost Frontier. Hell no, we just pretend that never happened. But like, this game was so unique and just so different at the time and just so experimental, and really, this is what put Naughty Dog on the map for me. I know they had some classics beforehand, but for me, at what, being 6, possibly 5 going on to 6, 7, haha, mean years old, I really like this game, and I really wish we could revisit maybe like Young Samos, or like, because we only got one game with this world we left behind. Even Gol and Maya as the villains, we don't know much about them, and then they kind of just get murked in the beginning. And I think I bought a loose CD of this and had it for a while, and then when I finally tried to buy like the complete, I tried to rebuy the case and the manual, and then it turns out they had the full thing for like $10 on eBay, so I got it. And I think one of the dopest things about this game, and the biggest surprise when I got this as a kid, the manual unfolded into a freaking map. Like, if you wanted something like this, this was in the base game. Like, you would just, this wasn't like some franchise title yet. This was just something new that Naughty Dog had put out after a couple successful titles on a previous console generation. But they gave us this for free with purchase. You would have to pay like $200 for a collector's edition for this now, which I think you did if you bought this from Limited Run Games. A map and manual, which then doubled as a wall poster, and then they put all the legal jargon that nobody wants to read over here because they knew better put it on this side. And remember game guides? Remember they used to advertise that like, hey, if you get stuck, just go to the store and pay $20 and figure out how to get through the game, because it's possible to do so. Maybe you just don't have anybody to help you figure it out. But like, spoiled. This was how their franchise starting off strong. And then we have Jak 2. I remember seeing the first commercial for this and I'm like, because at first we couldn't tell. We just saw the yellow hair, but we saw Daxter, and all of a sudden Jak is like older, got a goatee and guns. What is going on? I get why this is called Jak 2 Renegade in other countries, but like, because you get the 100% in the first game, and it technically you're getting, you discover the time portal that leads you into here. But bro, Jak was looting and shooting and carrying guns and cursing. And again, I bought a loose disc because I needed to find a complete set, and then I found one, but it came with the disc for a cheap price, so took the whole thing, and it did not cost me much. Yeah, came with a manual. You're in this weird capitalistic city and living in the ghetto. Dark Jack was a thing, and seeing that, get connected, the world of play. Yeah, register all your games so that like you can own them. And now PlayStation has become the very thing that they were supposed to not even destroy. Y'all just became dicks. Like I don't get you, Sony. I don't get you at all. But yeah, Jack 2 with the instruction manual and bro, just a very big shift. Like we really get up there. We really went from E for everyone to T for teen in one title. And again, aggressive did it. Why are all these stuck together? What is going on? Did these not they oh okay, so they really didn't chop these pages correctly. So can we yeah, okay. Pick a side. But yeah, the hoverboard, Dark Jack, the ships, the shooting, the suits, such a shift was had. Okay, apparently this booklet was never opened because all these pages are stuck together. Yeah, the Jack 2 was such a shift for this franchise, man. But like, I know it's a lot of people's favorite title. Honestly, I think it's mine too. Precursor Legacy always has a special place in my heart, but Jack 2 was just, they took a chance after taking a chance, and it worked. And then Jack 3. Not gonna lie, I know some people don't like the story for this, and they don't like the whole love interest thing seemingly swapping over to the cop chick, which I think they corrected in combat racing. And I honestly, I some of the desert driving did get on my nerves a lot, but I did like Light Jack. I did like getting Jack's backstory and finally coming full circle with, finding out who he is, finding out about his parent, or one of his parents at least. Finding about the Legend of Mar thing kind of seemed like it was shoehorned in there. And then I know they changed Kira's voice actor in here, but yeah, Jack 3 was dope. I will say the only thing I don't like that they got rid of, more notes, they cared. The only thing I don't like in this game that they got rid of, and was even worse in the ports, is that the precursor orb counter that lets you know how many you were missing in each area, like especially because precursor orbs become major currency in these and are so limited, but you have to get like 300 here and I think 600 here, and then you have to find all those to get a platinum trophy in the PlayStation and the PS4 ports, which nobody does. We all just cheated and did the debug mode because he didn't even bother to take that out. But great franchise, great trilogy. Another one where I think the first one might actually be my favorite, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I don't know why. And now that we're shutting down the PS3 and Vita stores, Sly 4 is just trapped on the PS3. I've heard it's not the greatest game. I've heard it's actually the worst one in the franchise. But I still want to be able to experience that. It's not fair, man. Like, and again, this was an entry title from Sucker Punch. Took a chance on a new IP, and they gave us the Thievius Raccoonus as the manual. Like this, we don't even get manuals anymore, let alone ones this creative. Sly 1, fantastic, man. Then we upgrade to Sly 2, Band of Thieves, where now we get to play as more of the characters versus just the few limited interactions we had last game. And again, another Thievius Raccoonus, along with what did Sucker Punch give us? Did we get a poster? Did Sucker Punch also give us another poster? Yeah, we got all this extra stuff. Easy there, camera. We got all this extra stuff for free. And I get it. This is probably them saying thanks for loving the game so much that we can make a second one. But like, look, man, Murray the Brawn, Sly Cooper the Master Thief, Bentley the Brains, and you got the entire trio here, man. Like, they do not make them like this anymore. And people think we're just being old heads and unks or whatever, talking about, oh, physical is forever. But like, you can't, digital games are okay. Like, the games can be great, but like, you don't get the experience of ripping off the plastic and then seeing all of what is inside. And again, another Thievius Raccoonus, more registration stuff. Is there more notes? Yeah, the new bad guys all having wanted posters. Carmilla Fox, who, I ain't gonna lie, was the start of a journey for some of my friends. And people having their own pages in here from the desk of Ben. Like, they took what worked before and just upgraded on it greatly. And then what for a while was the finale is Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves. And apparently we were experimenting on our grand finale with 3D gameplay because there is a pair of 3D glasses that were supposed to come with this game. So you get a third Thievius Raccoonus, but you also, they were cut out. To the person who sold me this, I'm not even mad. I got most of the stuff in here, but you had a pair of 3D glasses that you were supposed to construct and put together, and then you could turn on 3D mode on your TV, and then you could play the game like that. And what's funny enough is that I had recently played Sly 1, and then I bought because I own the original, but then I decided, let me pick up Sly 2 and 3, and then they came to the PlayStation Store, so I streamed the entirety of the franchise. They're all in playlists on the gaming channel, and I platinumed all 3 of them. This one, very interesting pickup, and I'm glad I got it because it's actually kind of expensive now. Game Shark. I actually have one of these on my Game Boy Advance as well, but basically, even if your game didn't have cheat codes, you basically would put this into your PS2. You would then, and they give you this big legal mumbo jumbo whenever you put these in, and it says, hey, not licensed by whatever console and company XYZ, but it would have all the codes and stuff that you can use: infinite lives, infinite rings, infinite ammo, God mode, all kinds of stuff, things that were not even cheat codes, but like they were basically hacks for the game. And if you didn't have your game in here, you could go to the website and you could look up new codes that they would come out for new titles. And then for GameCube, so there were 2 of them. There was Game Sharks and Action Replays. For the GameCube, I had the Action Replay, and if you could notice, there are cracks in the middle because the disc was like a millimeter too small for the center of the GameCube and the actual holder of like a GameCube case. So if you look these up, a lot of them have these similar like hairline cracks around the middle. They still cost a pretty penny, but like this thing was not made properly. But same thing, you could go to codejunkies.com and you could preload stuff, or you could do what I have to do now, which is manually type them in, which is annoying, but especially when the code is wrong, you manually type them 50-digit codes and it's wrong. You'd have to have a master code you would activate for your games as well. You do the master code to then activate. Like if you want to see an example, we just did a long play of hard mode for Sonic Heroes. I'm using Game Shark codes in there. So infinite flight, and always having the team attack bar full. Like you get cool little stuff like that. This is the Game Boy Advance one, which you would take the game, you would insert it in here, and then you put it inside the Game Boy Advance, and then you would activate the codes. Codes go through, and I'm gonna lie, sometimes if you did too much, the game would just crash. Like Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Sonic Advance 1 and 2, too much stuff going on or too many power-ups too fast in a level progression game, the game would just short out, and you would just have to come in and like chill on some of the codes you're putting in. But I'm very glad I still have all 3 of these. Now, moving on to more greatness, OG copy of Kingdom Hearts 1, back when it was called Squaresoft and not Square Enix. I remember walking in, because I had some older friends I used to hang out with who were in, I want to say, middle school when I was about 3rd grade. I walked in on them playing the Maleficent boss fight. I'm like, who is this kid with the big shoes and this giant key sword? And why are Donald and Goofy helping him fight the bad lady from, sorry y'all, it is late, I am blanking on names right now. Sleeping Beauty. Why are they fighting the bad lady from Sleeping Beauty? Also, the bad lady from Sleeping Beauty has a name, but like, OG Kingdom Hearts 1, man, like, the OG title, I know we've had 1,000 remakes and remasters. I've never bought it. Like, look at the art. Look at having these weird thoughts lately, having these weird dreams. Is any of this for real or not? Like, I know we've done some remakes and whatnot, but like I've owned all the OG software and hardware, so I just never. Kairi and Riku, young Kairi, and this is like our only time we get like the young version of these characters too. At least, and voice-wise as well. The clock tower, but just all the start of this super long journey that so many of us would end up going on. And again, Nomura was going in with some of this character art. There were action figures for this. Like Nomura was coming out of Final Fantasy, saying, hey, let me sprinkle some of those characters over here, and just letting people which this game is the reason I got into Final Fantasy. So, like, I didn't know who Sephiroth was. I didn't know who Cloud was. I just knew they kicked my ass every time I tried to fight him. Or that you could get alternate cutscenes whenever you beat Cloud and Leon on your first times battling them. But the beginning of a great saga, and one we are hoping to get a new entry from soon. Okay, so I promise I never saw advertisements or anything for this. Also, again, not super holographic, but the cover art, man, for a Game Boy Advance, we got a Game Boy Advance remake on a PS2. For the cover art was dope, but like I just walked into GameStop one and saw that they made Chain of Memories in a 3D version. So I was like, maybe I missed it, maybe they dropped it at the same time, but no, apparently they made a port slash remake. And I'm not gonna lie, I like this. I know people hate the card system. I like the 3D version of this. And I overwrote my save file with Riku. I overwrote my Sora file with my Riku file, and I kind of hate that I did that, which is why I haven't come back to play this. Those save files need to be separate the same way they were in the Game Boy version. That was dumb. But yeah, Chain of Memories, and I saw that there were trailers and like advertisements. The Unknown, yeah, the organization. I saw that there were like trailers and old like promos for this. I'm like, I swear to God, I never saw any of those on TV. Yeah, another more because we had become Square Enix by this point. More registration stuff, more things that let you know you own this. Yeah, letting you know about getting more in depth about the cards. Again, PlayArts has been putting out Kingdom Hearts figures for like 2 decades, like since the beginning. Solid title. And then our personal fave, the one that just had a 20-year anniversary and went crazy with the holographic cover. I think this was the first game I ever pre-ordered too. I remember the guy at and again, Kingdom Hearts 2 has a demo, which I think is lost media now. A lot of people don't even remember it. You played as Roxas with doing I think the 7 Wonders of Twilight Town. But yeah, I think this was the first game I ever did that. The guy was like, hey, you played the demo, you only put $5 down, you can come back and get the game. I put that $5 down, and then they called my mom. I was like, you said your game's ready? I went over there and saved all of my birthday money for this. Because I think this came out like, what, March 2005, 2006? But yeah, this, I don't know. We really thought we were getting Kingdom Hearts 3 after this. And we see the graphical upgrade. We see the THX. But man, and I made sure I kept this complete. This was one of the first games I repurchased after the robbery. But... and I'm forever glad they didn't take the case and they left me my manual. Because like this story, man, the most they cosplay this Sora more than Kingdom Hearts 2, and I say that as somebody who's been to cosplay meetups and linked up with other Soras at DreamCon and at these other anime conventions. Man, 2 was just. And I remember in 5th grade we were huddled around the lunch table because one of our friends bought the guide, right? We literally used to go through this, take turns passing this book around, trying to see what chests we missed, who couldn't find what, or seeing maybe how to beat certain bosses. But Kingdom Hearts 2 will forever be the top, possibly for me and a lot of other people, and I fully understand why. One day I will maybe play the final mixes for these, but right now I'm okay with this. I actually did a rerun of all the boss fights and like a kind of like I did like a long stream and then made a cut of it on the gaming channel that y'all can check out. If anything, I need to redo it possibly because the stream is super laggy, but the cut is of a recording I made while the stream was going and it ended up being 6 damn hours. But that was fun, and I'd like to do it again where y'all can actually watch along with me. And now for my favorite franchise, yeah, Stolen. Let's see, what day did I buy it? I bought this, it's still crisp too. I bought this in 2008 for $17 or $18. Because, you know, I was a sucker for this. You put Sega All-Stars, put Sonic on the cover back when he still had motion, even though 06 had just come out and kind of killed us a little bit. You put Sonic on the cover, I was sold. And you know what? Playing as Sonic, playing as Shadow, I literally played all the Sonic characters. I'm not even a tennis guy, but this game, it was actually fun. Heroes. I remember getting this game for my birthday in we rented this in 3rd grade because my mom just wanted something for me and my friends to play. And I remember, I think we played Team Sonic and then Team Dark. And I didn't realize Team Dark was the hard mode because my God, did I get mollywopped. Like, I think we beat maybe one team story, and it might have been Team Rose. But also, did Sonic get rid of the ages? Like, yeah, 15, 16, Tails is 8. Is like, I wouldn't be shocked if you're telling me that a lot of them have had like some age gaps. Like, everyone's like 20 and up now. Because I noticed they kind of omit everyone being like, I can't. They all act like teenagers, so I just assume they're still kids technically. Like, Rouge being the oldest one is 17, Amy is 12. Never mind, Big is 18, hanging out with a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old. And then you got Eggman, who, never mind. Okay, I forgot. These are the older ones. Vector is 20, hanging out with a 16 and a 6-year-old Charmy. My God. Also, I don't see why Eggman's age is hidden. He's like 50 something. Yeah, Heroes, man. Heroes was what got me into this Again, more notes. Games had notes. I would love to see someone who has actually used the notes section of their game manuals and just to see what you guys used to put in there. Again, and more strategy guides. Like, there were ways to make money off the game without just nickel and diming the actual data and software and selling everything as DLC. Get back to this. But yeah, I remember playing this game and then finally playing it again when I got to middle school and beating it and realizing, oh, there's more story here. Like, we're following Adventure 1, 2, and Loki, a sequel to Sonic CD, which is why I went and picked up Gems and Mega Collection. And then we have this foul-mouthed bad boy. I remember picking this up and me and my friends being on the phone talking to each other like, yo, Shadow has guns. The game is E10 plus. He is swearing in here. And then, like, there was just this, I don't know if you could even give Shadow a sequel game, but, like, Shadow Generations was dope. But, like, the dark tones, the hero and villain missions, I Am All of Me, the theme song, I know the game was a little bit clunky. I know trying to unlock that expert mode is a big hell no. But I will forever have a soft spot for this game, even though some of those levels are frustrating. Find the computer room, not that bad. Find all the chaos, the clone things, hate it with a passion. And then you're supposed to get an A rank on all those individual missions to get a secret story mode that unlocks Sonic 06, which is why I just use action. That's why I have the game track and the action replay, because getting all A ranks in here was already a hell no. Getting all A ranks in this, and I don't think there's any codes for this, so this I had to go find somebody on YouTube when we streamed it. Also, finding out that this Black Doom is voiced by Sean Schimmel, and that is just hilarious to me, because how you're telling me that's Kakarot. But yeah, Shadow finding out about his past, finally getting all the closure to his story, which started in SA2. And also, first game I played with my little brother, if I haven't said that already, sorry, I am getting delirious, it's 4 a.m. Because, you give your little sibling the controller, and I realized when I gave him the controller, he could control the second character. You could even play as Maria. She has like a pimp slap technique. You can play as everyone, I think, except Black Doom and Floating Eggman TV head. But yeah, I noticed he was controlling Sonic, and you can kind of use him like Tails in the OG Sonic 2. Just use him to take all the hits you don't want to, because he can't die. I know a lot of people have criticism of this one, but I liked Unleashed. Again, even though I'm realizing now after recently streaming it, you got the watered down version on the PS2. Like, I didn't know you were supposed to be able to explore the city instead of just being like slideshow cutscenes, and apparently there were levels in here with Tails you could play as well. But yeah, even the little short film and the way they were doing the promos for this was dope too. Like, also that intro for Sonic Unleashed, probably one of the strongest intros in the entire fandom. Like, we're just running up on Eggman solo and gonna go supersonic off the bat when we had the option to the whole time. And then we got one of the greatest memes ever out of the intro of this. But solid title. I might need to try the Xbox 360 version one day. Another great birthday gift. This one I got gifted when I was 10. Fell in love with it immediately. I don't know how I unlocked Supersonic. I'm trying to do those missions now, and they are a pain. I don't understand how I had these skills when I was younger. But also Jason Griffith playing, I'll be honest, Jason Griffith plays Sonic and Jet, and his Jet just sounds like his 4Kids version of One Piece Usopp. But Sonic Riders, man, this game was revolutionary, because a Sonic racing game immediately sounds like a turnoff, especially if you didn't like Sonic R. But new characters, new lore, the Babylon Rogues, the boss fight towards the end. It didn't get old. It did not get old. It didn't get stale, and it had you thirsting for more. And then, you know, getting introduced to more new characters. Like, and I think the only ones we had new that were introduced around this time were the people in Dark Brotherhood, Blaze, and what is it, Marine the Raccoon. And I think I forget the other bad guy's name, or your racing rival in Rush Adventure. So Sonic Riders, man, this game this was a great 15th anniversary title. Now, Sonic Riders Zero G, it's not bad, and I think the perfect description I've heard of this game is that it tried to do something different while sacrificing all the things that made it cool in the first one and that made us want to pick up the second one. Like, the fact that like the jumps are now limited to just like timed button inputs, and you're not able to do any like custom tricks. And I'll be honest, the gravity thing, I wasn't a fan of the first time around. It's cool, but I think you should only be able to activate it in certain sections because they allow you to do it whenever, but then you're just draining your meter, and now you're not able to do anything. Like, and again, if you notice, as we are getting later in time, these manuals are getting thinner and thinner. Like, notice these later, closer to 2010 titles. I remember we had a whole church sermon about this movie because they called these animals demons. Yeah, notice as we get closer to 2010, these manuals get thinner and thinner and smaller and smaller. But that is actually my last PS2 title. However, so when I moved from Texas, this was the only game I packed in my backpack and didn't put in a box or storage and brought with me. Like, I made sure I picked this up, and because they still have like festivals and all these cool like community moments. And if you check the gaming channel, you guys can, or the main channel, you see that I have interviewed Devin Mack, who plays Sonic Prime on Sonic Prime on Netflix. We actually met at Sonic Expo last year, and whenever the festivals come along, he's always streaming on Twitch, so me and him always kind of play together. And so I was like, I didn't want to miss out on that. So this is out of all my PS4 and all of my next gen titles, this is the only one that is currently physically with me here in Florida. Again, if you guys want to see more of my collection, if you want to see more of the retro games I have, which there's some cool stuff I want to do with some of those games. Again, the donation link is in the description. It just helps me send money to my mom so she can ship my things down here. Another game I probably should have packed that I wish I brought with me was, especially since DreamCon just passed, 2 years ago, I got to interview and meet Najee Jeter, who plays Miles Morales in the video games. And he actually, for free, hooked me up and autographed my copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's in storage somewhere. I need to get it here, but it's one of the few things I wish I had brought with me to decorate my desk. But yeah, that is it, man. That is my entire collection. I feel like this video is going to be way much longer than Jared's, and if it is, I'm so sorry. If you made it to the end for whatever reason, I'm sorry if I sound tired or sleepy or drowsy or slurring, or for all my inconsistent word speech things and stutterings and whatnot. This is a different type of video than what I normally make. I normally go off a script, but for the movement, for the cause, and for all the not applause at Sony, I am willing to contribute what I can. Please go sign that petition. I know I already put my signature on it. Some of my friends have signed it. Mutuals I know have signed it. But Sony is moving like madness. Again, people got mad at me when I talked about. I've made skits, by the way. I've made skits about this whole thing. You can check out on the main channel. And people act like I was crazy a couple years ago when they shut down the Funimation app and they said, oh, all anime will be in one place, but it's not. We're currently missing like over 100+ titles that never came to Funimation. And again, Sony's also deleting movies out of people's catalogs, which they did to me when they took over Funimation. I lost like 7 films. And then just to make up for it, they gave me 3 months of premium. That's not even like a half of what I paid for any of those movies. That's not even a third or a quarter of what I paid for those movies in total. But yeah, now Sony wants to shut down, they're taking movies out of people's library. They want to shut down the PS3 and Vita stores, meaning like the infamous games in Sly 4 and Heavenly Sword, Lair, like a bunch of titles are just going to be MIA. They're going to be lost media. Like, it's going to look like Nintendo over there. And they keep trying to just tweet like nothing's wrong and everything's fine. And I need y'all to keep whipping them over there. Keep putting belt to ass in those replies. Keep jumping in every time Domino's goes in for like a leg sweep. I need y'all to be there to like on all fours behind their knees so they just fall over and embarrass themselves. I hope I described that right. But yeah, save video games. Physical media is important. As you can see, I don't throw anything out. Feel free to join me for Walk and Talk or Bike and Mike Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Feel free to check out my catalog. Feel free to please go sign that petition. Again, we have to save physical media, people. And for the companies that are upset about this, please feel free to sue, because I'm going to be upset. Hold on. Because now you're telling me if Kingdom Hearts 4 doesn't release in the next year or so, or God forbid, any of the games I'm looking forward to, Spyro 4, TMNT The Last Ronin, if none of those drop within the next year, they're gonna force to be digital. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 might be Melody and Memory too, but those, at least as far as the collector's edition, Kingdom Hearts 3 and Melody and Memory might be the last time I get to hold one of these. Like bro, that is crazy. Like imagine telling them, hey, we're getting delayed, or I don't know, something crazy happens, family issues, God forbid, another pandemic, and PlayStation's just like, yeah, big whoop, like tough-ish. You're gonna have to be all digital now. We are not producing discs for you, and that's. I hope this is all just them blowing smoke. I hope this is all them just trying to like raise some kind of hype. But yeah, man, Sony, get it together. And until you do, everyone else keep getting them together. I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't know when this is getting uploaded, but if you have made it to this part, thank you. Keep buying physical video games. Please support your local mom and pop retro stores or vendors if you see them at anime conventions. Keep getting these things, because now, especially as a retro retro guy, potentially the entire catalog of Sony, PlayStation and Sony is now going to become retro. PlayStation 1 through 5 will now have a limited number of copies out there, and then those prices are going to fluctuate because now they're in the retro market. So that's also something that, from my perspective, we really don't need out in the world. So do what you can. Keep buying your physical games. Keep picking up your physical games. Please do what you can. Physical media matters. God bless y'all. Have a good week.
Remember, all I'm offering is the
beats, baby.